Hey, Steve Zook, welcome back to Folks Who Channel here. I want to talk a little bit about the guitar ladder system. You know, folks, seriously, I know there's no truer saying than we all see the same thing from a different point of view, but it would be really easy for me to be like everybody else and just say, yeah, if you want to be a monster lead guitar player or you want to be a monster fusion player or whatever, but I mean, the reason people have a little trouble understanding my guitar ladder program is because it's a real deal. That's the truth. I'm 60 now. When I was in my early 20s, I studied from Joe Pass, and I also studied from Tony Rizzi, and I also studied from Horace Hatchett. Horace Hatchett taught Howard Roberts how to play when he was a young man in Arizona. Howard Roberts went on to form GIT, which is now MIT, which is the Guitar Institute of Technology. It's called, I think, Musicians Institute now. He was one of the greatest jazz guitar, let's just say greatest players ever. You need to understand, folks, that because I got an email or, on my YouTube today saying something about, well, I want to know more about than just a quantum leap. At some point, you transcend genre. It doesn't really matter if you want to play country, rock, blues, whatever. You still need to understand the components of music. You need to get your musical tool chest together, and that's what the guitar ladder system does. It teaches the 10 different systems of improvisation, and those are all within the chord cycles, okay? And it doesn't really matter what style of music that you want to play, you still need to get your musical tool chest together. It's kind of like Bruce Lee used to say. At some point, he transcended martial arts, genres, and just realized it was all martial arts. It's the same thing with music. If you really want to be a great musician and wake up the composer within you, you need to, learn about the components of music. And what's so cool about my system is it's all contained within all these different cycles. Automatically teach your subconscious mind smooth voice leading, diatonic harmony, flat 5 subs, secondary dominant, symmetry, intervallic improvisation, chordal harmony. It's really an amazing thing, and this has taken me 40 years to come up with, and I give God or the universe, the one mind, whatever you want to call it, most of the credit for it. But I'm telling you, if you're kind of fluctuating, seriously, this is not bullshit. This is like getting thousands of dollars of high quality guitar instruction for only $199. And if you're kind of on the fence about spending $199, I'm going to offer a crazy guarantee starting today with people that order today. And it's a 3-year membership, but here's the thing about my guitar ladder course, and that's again why it's a little hard to understand. It's the real deal. This isn't bullshit. There's nothing like it. If you could study with some of the, now this is all my own original material, but I think the soul of Joe Pass and the soul of Horace Hatchett, who was one of the greatest guitar minds ever on the planet. He actually taught one of my first teachers, Ruben Quintero, who was kind of like a George Van Epps kind of a guy. But, it's almost like you're absorbing some of the soul and knowledge of some of the greatest guitar minds on the planet, because I absorbed that stuff. And I absorbed it and then kind of, transformed it into my own thing. But when you do chordal work, like I see a lot of people, when you do chordal work, see, like this is a good example here. See how everything's nice there and smooth voice leading. When you do chordal work, it just really feeds your musical mind and gets your musical tool chest. If you watch on the very first page of my YouTube page, me doing the improv on that LH350, that's a good example. And actually, Jamie Glasser saw that, who used to tour with Jean-Luc Ponty. He's won Grammys. He sold millions of records. He's done a lot of studio work, and he loved it. He was really impressed. But the point I'm just trying to make is it doesn't really matter what style of music that you want to play. It's just like if you were going to plant a plant in some soil. It doesn't matter what kind of plant it is. It needs good soil to grow. If you're going to build a house, it doesn't matter if it's an A-frame in the mountains or a modern house. You still need nails and wood, and you need your musical tool. The guitar ladder system helps you get your musical tool chest together, and it doesn't bog you down with a ton of boring theory. I do some theory, but the chord cycles, and I also have single note studies, really are magical. But what I'm going to offer right now, because I want you to take the time, is you can order my system for $199, and even though it's a 3-year membership, because this takes time, I'm not sitting here telling people this is an overnight easy thing, okay? If you're looking for an easy way to wake up your musical mind and become a great guitar player, there isn't one out there. It doesn't exist, okay? But if you can, you know, spend a little bit of time every day on this material, because what you practice has a huge effect on your growth. You know, if you practice the right stuff, you can wake up your musical mind. So here's what I'm going to offer starting today with people that buy starting today. Work my system for a year, and if you don't agree that you're on the path to some huge growth, I'll refund the $199. But I want you to work on the material for at least a year, preferably longer than that. But I mean, a year should give you enough time to see this is the real deal. Because when you start working on you know, chordal practice, it's like my old teacher Horace Hatchett used to say, you hear the interior and exterior movement of chords. So I got to keep this short, but like I said, so if you're emailing me saying, well, you know, I need more than just thinking I'm going to get a quantum leap. Well, of course, I agree and I understand. So the information, you're going to get great single note studies, technique development, but the real huge essence of my guitar ladder course is it's going to wake up your musical mind. It's going to give your subconscious mind and, you know, the pieces of the puzzle, give you your musical tool chest, so you'll begin to, and what usually happens with people, and it takes a while, is you start working on my cycles, and then all of a sudden you'll sit down at the guitar and start noodling, and you'll start doing something that, you know, you've never done in your life, and all of a sudden, you know, you begin to see yourself kind of waking up your musical mind. It's an incredible thing. But there's nothing like this on the planet. Like I said, I give God, the one mind, the universe, most of the credit for this, but I have worked my butt off. But like I said, you're absorbing knowledge from some of the greatest musical minds on the planet. This is all my own original material, but I kind of borrowed some approaches. Because I noticed when I used to study with Joe Pass, I mean, he'd play one chord like this, and he could stay right in one place and, you know, start taking off. And there's just, like I said, there's like 60 to 80 different chord cycles. There's single note studies. There's technique development. There's legato studies. You learn how, you know, you learn about blues licks and all that, and creating jazz lines and all that. But the real essence of the guitar ladder system is learning the 10 systems of improvisation, and they're all inside the cycles here. So it doesn't matter if you want to play country, rock, metal, blues, fusion. I'm really into solo acoustic guitar. I mean, if you really, you know, you can go to stevesatguitars.com and go to the guitar ladder page, listen to some of my original compositions. You can do a search for Journey in Time on YouTube. I'm a pretty versatile guitar player, and really, listen to some of my solo acoustic pieces like Blues Truck and Gray's Mountain, and that's where the proof of the pudding is compositions, and that's where most people are pretty damn weak, is their compositional skills. And most people, unfortunately, in today's world are weak in terms of developing their own style. Now, everybody's going to have style that's going to reflect other artists that they like, but really learning about the art and science of music will help you develop style. You're going to emulate artists that you like. There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, you know, you need to learn your instrument. You need to get your musical tool chest together. And all I can say is this system works. And I know it sounds really corny, but trust me, you will have some huge growth with this. But it's not an overnight thing. It takes a little bit of effort to do this, okay? But the knowledge and the time, and like I said, I'm going to do a thing. This is for people that's starting today. If you invest the $199 in this course, give it some serious time, give it an hour a day for at least a year. And if you don't agree that you're on the path, because you'll start noticing it, you know, it could happen sooner than a year. I don't know. It depends how much time you put into it. But if you don't really think you got, because this seriously is like thousands of dollars in free guitar instruction. I mean, not free, but thousands of dollars in guitar instruction. So you can order the system. I just took the risk out of it, and you can start working. You know, you can start working these cycles and start seeing how they affect, you know, your musical consciousness. And again, it doesn't matter what style you play, but you're going to learn, you know, diatonic harmony, intervallic, symmetry, secondary dominant, flat five subs, chromatic, chordal harmony, contrary motion. It just goes on and on. But here's the thing. Great music you can't put into a box. Great music transcends definition. Great music is a culmination of all these different styles. But I mean, I don't care what age you are, especially, you know, it really doesn't matter. But if you feel like you're kind of stuck on guitar, and by the way, the better you get, the harder it is to get unstuck, which is an interesting challenge, but we all get there. But I mean, if you really want to, you know, surprise yourself with how good you know, I know it sounds really arrogant, some of the stuff that I say, and I apologize for that, but like I said, again, I give God the credit for this, but you'll probably never reach the level of being a composer without this system. Because there's, you have to expose your subconscious mind to all these possibilities. Just like if you were an architect, so let's say you're an architect, but you've never it's kind of hard to play and talk. Let's say you're an architect, but you've never studied other people's work. You've never studied the way other people maybe build a house and design a house. You obviously wouldn't have much of a reservoir to draw from. That's the same thing with the guitar ladder system. You're going to learn about inversions. You're going to learn about high tension chords, low tension chords. How to build, off of these different chords, and how different high tension, low chords demand resolution. You're going to get to the point where you can play a chord and just take off for 2 or 3 minutes, and that's really the point. But I got to make this short, but I'm saying, if you've been kind of on the fence about the guitar ladder system, now's the time to grab it, because I just took all the risk out of it. You can order it now. You got a year to give it a try and start working on this stuff, and within a year you should really, probably will happen before that, but this is the real deal. I'm not saying this is the easiest course in the world, and you need to gear yourself up a little bit to put some time into it, but you can work on it for a year. And if you don't see that it's obvious that you're making some real growth, I'll refund your money, okay? But I want you to work on it for at least a year, all right? But yeah, it's the real deal. You're going to learn, like I said, there's lots of really cool single note studies as well, but when you start learning about chordal improvisation and your ear begins to, it's all about ear training. I'm trying to that's why people like Joe Pass and Wes Montgomery were so great. Not only did they have the technique, but they've woken up their musical ear. Like you learn about contrary motion and smooth voice leading and all these different systems. So I got to get off so this thing downloads. I would say go for it, because it's when I said before that people don't know how to practice, it's not just don't know how to practice, they don't know what to practice. And guitar is the easiest thing in the world to just mess around on, but if you practice the right stuff an hour a day, you can make some huge strides. And I've seen students with very little musical talent just wake up their musical mind and almost like they were born into a more musical family, and that's not bullshit. This system works, folks. It's the real deal, and that's why it's a little harder to understand, because I'm not just coming at you like a lot of these very commercial guitar sites with, I've got 50 instructors and this for this and this for metal and this for blues. And this is the real deal. Joe Pass would love this material, and like I said, I showed some of it to Ted Green and he loved it. And this is the real deal, folks. I mean, if you really want to give yourself a shot to be the best guitar player you can be, order the system. You've got a year to check it out. And if you don't agree that you've made some massive growth or you're on the path to making massive growth, I'll refund your money. But that's for people starting today, ordering today, and going forward. Okay? All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, to order, you can just go to stevezookguitars.com, look for the blue guitar ladder cover. You can even go to YouTube and just go to the guy surfing, and down on the bottom right it says Steve Zook Guitars. That will link you right to my stevezookguitars.com. And then look for the blue guitar ladder cover. There's a buy now through PayPal. It's completely secure, and just click there and you can order from there. If you have any trouble ordering, you can email me at stevezook7@yahoo.com. That's STEVEZOOK. Not 7 spelled out, just the number 7@yahoo.com. But seriously, folks, don't overthink the guitar ladder system. It works. I'm not bullshitting you. I've seen just unbelievable, almost miraculous results with a lot of people, because this is real material. I've got I started taking guitar lessons when I'm 7 and I'm 60 now. Like I said, I studied with Joe Pass. I studied with Horace Hatchett, who taught Howard Roberts how to play. Howard Roberts started at MIT. I took from Tony Rizzi, who was kind of a Tommy Tedesco studio kind of a guy. But because this system is the real deal, that's why it's a little tricky to understand, okay? But just bring a little positive faith to the table, go for it. You've got a year guarantee. If you don't agree that you're on the path to making some huge strides, or you've already made some strides, I'll refund your money. But I want you to work on it for at least a year. All right, take care, bye-bye.